Hey Scorpio, it's Nicholas Ashbaugh. Welcome to your mid-month check-in. This is for the month of March, or the rest of it, I should say, and I just want to welcome everybody. If you're wondering why I'm doing mid-month instead of beginning, I had some health issues that I had to deal with a couple weeks ago, so thank you for giving me time to prioritize health and well-being. All right, with that being said, as always, I like to begin with channeled messages. What came through for you was an image of a diamond with beautiful facets. I want to start with qualities of a diamond before we get to the facets. Diamonds are strong, and the way that they become this beautiful, like brilliant crystalline structure is through heat and pressure. So whatever's going on in your life at this moment, it may feel intense, it may feel overwhelming sometimes, but you're finding an inner strength, or maybe you didn't know it was there. You're going to discover an inner strength that will take you through the month. And you'll come out shining on the other side, provided that you exercise, grace and that you are discerning in what you put your time and energy into. But I see the potential this month for you to be like a diamond in the rough and really come out at the end of the month shining. So strength and grace under fire, or grace under pressure. The second thing is the facets. And this represents making sure that you're looking at things from all the different angles. And also taking time, if you're working on a project, to polish it up. Make sure that you're not rushing something off, because in diamonds or in any sort of gems, it's the clarity, it's the cut that actually really adds to the value, and it can make or break sort of like, the gem as far as its ability to be sold. So for you, make sure that you're taking that extra step to put your best foot forward, to polish things off, and then you can be done with it, which is beautiful. And then the last thing is it takes time. It takes time for that diamond to basically be created. So we don't want to rush. I mean, I think final touches and also like just allowing things to go through the steps, they go hand in hand. But anything worth doing takes time. And anything worth doing, why not try to do it right the first time rather than rushing it and having to go back and fix it later? Suffice it to say, with such a wonderful totem coming through, I'm excited to see what your potential is. The idea of a diamond being in the rough does show that there might be something hidden value, a blessing in disguise. So as I look at the cards here in just a moment, we'll keep an eye out for that as well. All right, let's check in on Apollo and then we'll shuffle the cards. All right, look at Apollo resting right there behind us. I'm just going to give him a quick pat on the head, and then we will see what's in store. All right, take a moment, please, to close your eyes. Imagine that the sun is shining directly overhead, creating a halo of light around you. Within this circle of light, you are protected and connected to source energy. Let's go ahead and invite in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters, and set the intention to receive things for your highest good. Card just wanted to come straight out of the deck, so we're going to allow that one to be the one. All right. Let's get started with your dual catalyst this month. All right, so your two cards are the Hero and Contemplation. Hero, of course, being the presenting energy. This nicely connects to the whole diamond that came through in the channel messages, showing that in this moment in time, you have what it takes: strength, clarity, and the ability to see things from multiple angles, something we would want to see in a hero. This is also very portal themed. So the question isn't, can you do it, but are you ready? And that's sort of what Spirit is presenting you with. You have to see and believe the qualities that I'm seeing here, the heroic qualities, the ability to do whatever it is that you set your mind to. If you can see it, if you can feel it, you can project it, you can connect to it. Don't overthink. I like the contemplation message here, but if we kind of zoom in on the bottom, this person is sitting in the middle of a labyrinth. Sometimes we can actually think ourselves into sort of like a block, a mental block. So don't do that. Less is more when it comes to the contemplation. Now, if you don't give yourself ample time for meditation, for daydreaming, then that's what this is about for you. Basically getting into Two of Wands energy. We just don't want to go into Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups can be that overthinking. Two of Wands is imagining and identifying what's possible. So let's lean into that and let's avoid getting in our headspace too much. All right, as I take a look at everything in front of us here, it looks pretty good, folks. So, interestingly enough, perfectly mentioned here, the Two of Wands actually empowers the Lover's message. So why don't we begin with the Lovers? As a center card, this is super auspicious because it represents two or three things, actually. One, it's a great time to make new connections in your life. It doesn't have to just be romantic. If you're working, it can be a strategic alliance. If you're looking for fun and friends in your life, this is a great time to lean into community. If you are looking for love, yes to that as well. Additionally, it's a magnet card. People are interested in you, whatever it is that you're putting out into the world. So you have a persuasive and a charismatic quality that is contained within this. Lean into it. With the Hero card and the Lovers card, I really do feel like you have the potential to get past any block or any challenge. Again, you just have to see it and believe it. As I was mentioning, crystal clear vision is important. In order to crystallize and kind of get a clear idea of what it is that you want to do, you need time to meditate. So this Two of Wands shows the sort of opportunity in the distance. Let's look at the traditional one just for a moment. We see the person holding a globe and then also gazing at the world around them. To me, this card represents the sort of phrase, what if, or why not? And you start to daydream and think, if I wasn't tied down by this, or if I could actually do this, then maybe this could happen. It's a sea of possibilities. And when you start to think it's possible, when you start to dream it's possible, you start to see things in the distance. So I like this version of it too. So it's almost as if Spirit is placing the symbol, like a bat symbol, out on the horizon saying, hey, look over here. So give yourself time to meditate, to focus, and to imagine things. Daydream. We don't do enough daydreaming as adults. And actually, I would argue probably since smartphones came around in like 2006 or 7, we've done a lot less of it because we have the distraction right there. Smart devices in general. So do what you can to put them down, put them on Do Not Disturb, and focus on wherever your mind takes you. Meditation doesn't have to just be a perfect zenning or zoning out. Whatever comes through is something that you're either trying to process or release, so pay attention to it and then let it go. And eventually you can get past that point so that there's a little peace and quiet, and then new things can come in. Create time to meditate. This is also, in a more tactical and practical perspective, planning. So for those of you that have a much more sort of like strategic mindset, you might be putting things in a planner, sketching things out on the chalkboard or on your own sort of like whatever device you're working on, but you're trying to get the blueprint. So take time to dream, to schedule, and to blueprint out whatever it is that you want to do. The planning will pay off, okay? In the deep past, we have the roller coaster of emotions that's often indicated by the Nine of Cups. This Nine of Cups is reversed. That means that the past month or two may have been emotionally taxing, trying, or surprising at the very least. The flip side, and this is where we want to put the energy in the Nine of Cups, is wish fulfillment and celebration. It's a very positive card when it's upright. But sometimes, whether upright or reversed, it's punctuated. So when things are good, it can almost be like you're thinking it's going to be that way forever. When things are bad, the same thing. Remember that those punctuated highs and lows only represent sort of like the extremes on the spectrum, and we spend a lot of time building up to or kind of coming down off of one of those moments. So pace yourself, take a step back and see the pattern, because that's also part of the previous card, and then allow yourself to get back into the energy of what if this happens? Because at the end of the day, if you wish it, if you follow through on it, you have a good chance of accomplishing it, because this represents fulfillment. The emotions, though, from the deep past could be blocking you. And whatever you need to do right now to kind of get out of your headspace and process those emotions, that would be the first priority. As we take a look at the recent past here, we have the Knight of Wands in the reverse position. This is encouraging you, if you haven't already done so, to reconsider something, to take a step back, and this is the facet piece of the channeled messages that's coming forth. In the upright position, it represents a thought, an idea, a project, basically taking shape and form and moving forward momentum. But when it's reversed, it's saying before you move to the next step, the next phase, whatever that might be, leveling up at work or going deeper in a relationship or working on something in your own life, just pause for a second. Look at the growth, look at where you're at, where you want to be, and make sure that you're doing something that feels right. Sometimes people miss the portion of the Knight of Wands, which is basically passion. It's not just cups that represents passion. Wands also represent it. And the more passionate you are about someone or something, the easier it's going to be for you to move the needle forward. So this is a moment in time where you really want to make sure that the effort that you're putting into something, if it's not being reciprocated by money, at least by passion. That's actually like what volunteer work is about. You just do it because you love it. It's not because you're receiving money, you're receiving joy. So make sure the currency exists in some way, shape, or form. And if you really want something, this can also be a fighting card. So with the Knight of Wands in reverse, it's saying, I'm going to be headstrong. I'm going to valiantly move forward with whatever it is that I want to see happen. And I'm not going to take no for an answer. There are times and places where this sort of approach can be good. The only cautionary note I have with this is make sure that you're not repeating old patterns, because this can represent being stubborn to a fault, thinking I've always done it this way and it worked before, so it will work again. Not always. Sometimes you have to innovate and try a new direction. So that's the one gentle nudge from the universe is don't be afraid to try something new. It's just like food. You never know until you try a different type of food. Okay, in the crowning position, you have the Ten of Pentacles, which is arguably one of the best cards when it comes to money, resources, and opportunity. If we look at the more traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, we can see that it comprises a lot of different things. First of all, it can be a contract. So you may be signing on the dotted line, a new job, a new home, marriage. It can also represent commitment, not just the contract, but commitment. The stability of the arch behind it also represents something that is built to last. Pretty much everything about this card is great. We also see the Tree of Life. That's the pattern that we see for all of the coins here. So we're focusing on creating something that has basically the foundation to take it to the finish line, has strength, which is basically what we were talking about with the diamond earlier. And this is also a card of community, networking, and people in your life. There's a lot to love with this. Because we're using a unique deck today, I want to show this version as well. So if we zoom in on the sort of like grandfather, paternal figure at the center, he's overwhelmed and maybe a little bored. Sometimes we sign up for something and it isn't all we thought it would be, or we weren't ready for the work. So if there's something in your life where you're feeling overwhelmed, or you were sold on something that was going to be easier than it actually is, now is the time to recalibrate a little bit. One way to ease out of that feeling of, if it's frustration, you might be able to get out of it just by looking at the big picture. But if it's not what you want, this is why the Prince of Wands, the Knight of Wands, took a step back. And he's asking himself, what do I want? And sometimes a moment of accomplishment can actually just be anticlimactic because it was the build up or the sort of like even the denouement, the moment after, that's the more important moment. Sometimes we put too much on just being on the platform and getting the gold medal. There's so much more to life. So we have to learn to live in the in-between zones, because otherwise I blame this on Hollywood movies and TV shows for these really big, bold moments with the cinematic, soundtrack and all of that. And life is more subtle, and life is a little less punctuated than that sometimes when it comes to those moments. So sometimes it's just a matter of saying, this is still amazing. It may not have been exactly the way that I imagined it, but its perspective is really what we're talking about here. So get the perspective and ask yourself, is it enough? Is it just emotions coming in? Is it something where it's not worth the hassle? So the 10 of Pentacles can also represent, for instance, like a really high paycheck, but the trade-off is you can't enjoy all the other things in your life, your friends, your family, your loved ones that we see in the regular card here, okay? And age is a normal part on this one. So as we step through the different ages, so we have child through adult on this one, and then also the golden years, your priorities shift. What you loved in your 20s and 30s really doesn't matter as much in your 40s and 50s. And by the time you're 60 and 70, you have a completely different perspective on life as well. Some of you are just in one of those pivotal graduation zones where you're like, I think I want something else. So this is just confirmation that all that's changed is that you've grown, and maybe you've outgrown a certain situation, and it could include what you originally set out to do in school, in work, in life. It's so appropriate, therefore, that we actually have the inner child coming out to play here in the near future. Six of Cups represents a lot of things, but the first message that I'm getting is going back to the diamond facets. There's a part of yourself from childhood, a good part of yourself, that you want to reconnect with, a dream, a wish, maybe something that you put on the back burner because you didn't have the time, you didn't have the support, but you never gave up on it. So the Six of Cups is the persistent, positive, playful inner child that comes back and says, hey, let's play. So make some time in your life to do something just because it makes your heart sing. The other thing with the Six of Cups is you may be reconnecting not just with a part of yourself, but maybe a person from the past, deciding, hey, I'd really like to get in touch with an old friend or relative that I haven't talked to in a while. Or maybe you're going to do something that connects you to the community around you. When you meet someone that embodies the Six of Cups energy, it's almost like from the very first conversation, you've decided either I'm going to marry this person, or we're going to be best friends, or I feel great around them. And it can be, a combination of these. They're not mutually exclusive. So we're getting really good energy here for the ability to draw in something or someone new. And guess what? How powerful and how cool is it that we have the Lovers and the Six of Cups? If I'm looking for relationship cards, these absolutely connect to that. The interesting thing also, literally it's called Rebirth on this card, or this particular deck, but Judgment comes through, and I always associate that with a karmic relationship, or a chance to basically reforge a relationship and improve upon it. So this is dreaming, this is receiving. It's a receptive card, Six of Cups. 10 of Pentacles, also very good. So this is love, this is marriage, this can be children. Some of you are in that phase, but this can also be magnetic energy, this can be money, and this can be people interested in connecting with you. Because I'm doing a general reading, I'll look at it from those angles, but suffice it to say, I see growth, movement, and good news in the areas of wealth and people, love, connections already. So wherever you were at the beginning of the month or the beginning of the year, it's shifting significantly. But the sort of key to your success is to continue to dream and think, well, what if I could do this? What if I could find someone? What if, you fill in the blanks, okay? Let's see if there's anything else that I want to talk about with the Six of Cups. The only other thing that I would say with this is you're never too old and you're never too young to make something happen, okay? Because we have the two ends of the extreme here. Now let's take a look at you, and this is the definition of a blessing in disguise. So right where my index finger was here in the tree, we have a floating cup, and that represents like a hidden ace. In front of the person, we have things that haven't quite gone the way that they expected it. So maybe they were thinking at this phase in my life or this stage, I should have been here. Or you're comparing yourself to someone else that has more than you do, and you've done the same work. You never know what's just about to come, and the universe is asking you to look up, literally in this card, but look around. There might be someone or something that's knocking at the door. It just requires your attentiveness. You have to listen, you have to look. So don't compare yourself to others. Keep room in your life for something good to surprise you, something positive, and imagine that the universe is a magnanimous, meaning it has your best interest, co-creator with you. You're writing your story and it's also writing it with you. It's vibing off of you. So when your vibe is low, it vibes low with you. When your vibe is high, it celebrates what you're connecting with. Stay elevated or positive with your thinking. Ask yourself, okay, this didn't work, but what else might? What else could I turn my attention to? Dream a little dream. That's what the Two of Wands is really inviting you to do. And it will help you get through this momentary pause that is coming through as Four of Cups. In the environment, we have the Ace of Swords, but the card is reversed. So a couple ways to look at this here. I want to start off first with what you can do to minimize distraction in your life. This can represent criticism when it's reversed because this is a card of communication. When it's reversed, it can either be the word no or criticism. Because it's in the environment, there could be a group of people or a single person that is constantly negative. The question that you have to ask yourself is, are they providing constructive alternatives? Or is it just subjective? I don't like it. If it's just subjective, tune it out. If it's constructive, take what you need, but don't let it get under your skin. The reason I mention that is because the Nine of Cups in reverse is showing too much. You're putting too much weight in their words. Everyone has an opinion. Not every opinion is worth listening to. Not everything that someone says is something that you need to incorporate. Use your own discernment, use your own opinion, and use your own vision in order to decide what you want. Okay? So that's the first thing. You may need to say no to someone else, or you may need to communicate constructive feedback to someone else. Everything that I just said, you can use to your advantage. So if you need to offer constructive feedback, I used to be a manager. The way that you can kind of step yourself into it is first, if there is something that's going well, start with the praise. If there's something you don't like, before giving the constructive element, ask them why they did it. There may be a very good reason. And then you don't end up stepping on your, putting your foot in your mouth or anything. And then if there's not a good reason and you need to give feedback, make sure that you're giving them something that they can do to fix it. Give them the tools. Hey, yeah, this isn't exactly what we were looking for, but we're close on this and this. Here's someone that you can talk to. Here's a couple of ideas. Think about it. And then give them the power to do what they need to do. All right? So be constructive, be supportive, say no if you need to. If other people are giving you criticism, you just have to kind of take it, consider the source. Take it with a grain of salt sometimes. And that's pretty much it. The final thing here is people might be waiting for you to take action. This can show a little bit of stagnation or lack of initiative. And so just be proactive. Be the one that initiates the conversation. Send a text to someone, send an email, or just walk in the room and say, hey, I've been thinking about you. What's going on? This sort of initiative is going to help you get things done and really make things happen. And because Lovers and Six of Cups energy preceded it, I feel like you're going to be okay. It's just a matter of beginning the conversation. As we look at hopes, fears, and opportunities, we have the Nine of Pentacles, one of my favorite cards. This is a slow and steady card, but it represents a ton of abundance. They chose a unique approach on this. So normally there's a snail, but instead of the snail, what they show in this one is buds that haven't blossomed yet. So there's something that's going to take a little bit of time, but it's worth the wait. And that's the main message on the Nine of Pentacles. Don't rush. And never second guess your ability to be able to do something. This is fiercely independent. Some of you might be asked to do something on your own for the first time, when before you had the support, the advice, or the reassurance of others. You're positioned this month to do it on your own, so give it a shot. If there's something where you need a little bit of help, you're just one step away from completion. And we see it in the crowning position. There may be a friend, a loved one, a trusted mentor that you can go to because of that Ten of Pentacles. So now would be the time to do all of that. Finally, very, very auspicious card in the outcome here. We have Rebirth, but 20 is also Judgment in most decks. So we'll focus on the Rebirth, and if I need to look at the original Judgment, I will. First, front and center, before we get to the baby or the horn, we see a hare or a rabbit. And this to me shows like rapid growth. So we have rebirth here, but then we see whatever it is that you're setting into motion or reigniting this time around, it's going to go faster than you think. Okay, so you're going to be able to dust yourself off and really hit the ground running. The little baby at the center representing a new version of yourself. releasing something, announcing something, and leaning into something. And then the horn in the background is connected to the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card where you see an angel. And it's a call to action. So one thing that Spirit's coming through right now and asking you is, are you willing to rise to the occasion? In the original card, which I'll show in a moment, we see souls rising from the dead. And that means that any sort of thing that has come to pass, this is not an end, it's a beginning. Anything that you might have lost in your life, anything that's no longer here, it exited to create space for something bigger, better, and brighter. So in this moment in time, see yourself on the precipice of something really new, exciting, maybe a little challenging, but you're going to be okay. So as I was talking, I found a traditional illustration here. We see all the souls rising up from the dead, and that means that this is a time to reimagine, reforge, and really focus on renewal, or as they put in this deck, rebirth. Two very different illustrations with a couple of similar elements. This is more focusing on the moment after something has come to pass, and then this is really stepping into the new, something new. So let's expand this and see where that newness, where that rebirth may be. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. A little bit of a side note here, I'm going to compress this so that I can get all of these out. So if you ever wanted to reach out and have a more in-depth reading, I do offer private readings. You can go to my website for more information on that. Again, I'll talk more about that at the end. Back into our extended forecast, we're going to focus first on health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. So we have this really cool cosmic card coming through for health. This is a really powerful card. I want to take the graphic off here so we can look at it. So this word, which is probably pronounced Saptet, is the Egyptian word for Sirius, the star. And we actually see a star above the crown. We have a couple of chakras that go above our body. One of them is the soul star chakra. So this is about getting out of the earthly limits of our bodies. And this is really important when it comes to spiritual development and general health and healing. I've experienced a couple of things in my life where I've had to just really go into trust, faith, and hope that my body could push through it, and allowing sort of on a spiritual and an energetic level for that to do what it needs to do. Medicine can only go so far, rest can only go so far. Sometimes we have to lean into hope and spirit, and that's one of the things here. Some of you are going really deep in your spiritual path and connecting to your higher self. And that's what this is as well. And if we were to just ascribe it to one of the cards in tarot, it would be the star. And the star is about authenticity. When you are unabashedly your authentic self, you typically are happier, you're more successful, there's more ease in your life. So finding a spiritual path that connects to what you want to do, being yourself and not feeling like you have to have your guard up all the time is what I'm getting with this. The caption on this also reads Unlimited Potential, Sacred Mission Initiation. So if before you were waiting, this card is saying now is the time to awaken, okay? Quickly looking at the cards and seeing what other messages are coming through. So there's a lot of focus on relationships and love. The Lovers, the Ten of Pentacles, Six of Cups. Like I said, this is the closest person to you in your life. This can be children, this can be best friends, this can be partnership or community. So people are essential to the mix this month in all aspects of your life, but you may just be looking to amp up your social calendar a little bit, so by all means do that. Avoid extremes. This is especially true when it comes to alcohol, caffeine, food, sugar, anything that you would consume. Make sure that moderation is being observed. There may be some of you that are electing for surgery, because when I get like a queen or an ace in the reverse position, and in the environment, it could represent someone that's going to help you deal with something. Also, don't underestimate the importance. It's mind, body, spirit. So the body portion would be like the surgery. The mind is what we talked about here, the mind and spirit. We need to focus on that component too. I'm a big fan of Eastern and Western combined. I'm not a doctor, but in my own health challenges, it's not one or the other. It's a little bit of both, okay? Let's see what else is coming through here for you. Slow and steady. Any sort of change that you're making, this really is leaning into doing it slowly. And then this card, if you had a wake-up call in your life, could be like I did earlier this month, where I had to go to multiple doctors to figure out what was going on with my blood pressure, and I got it under control. And I made changes in exercise and rest to make sure that I was okay. Gave it like 2 weeks, but this is a rebounding energy, just like I went through. So you can get through it, provided that you don't hit the snooze button, you act quickly, and you give yourself the support and the tools that you need to rebound. So judgment is like a phoenix rising from the ashes. It's a matter of listening to your higher self, listening to common sense, and answering the call, making the necessary changes, okay? And you are getting a second chance. And this card is also like spirit coming through and really just wants you to see something from a new perspective. To that end, you might get a second opinion. 2 of Wands, 2 points of view. Make sure that you trust the people that you're working with as well, okay? Let's go ahead now and move on to, we just looked at health, we'll look at wealth next. And in wealth, this is a very interesting card that came through. It says, grab your monster by the tail. We could look at this figuratively as what makes you afraid, what's needing to be dealt with. The monster could be like the devil or the moon, and it's saying if there's a fear, if there's something that's wrong, you're not going to wait for it to get fixed. You're not going to hope someone else fixes it. You're not going to hide. You're going to grab it and say, I see you. I own my part of this, and I release everything else because I don't need this as a teacher in my life anymore. So accountability, ultimately. All right, we're going to look high level at all things related to money and resources. One thing that I see this month is a need to change. The rebirth energy is the ultimate goal or the ultimate growth card here. So for those that are still working, looking for work, or studying, it feels like you're very close to completion, first of all, with the 10 of Pentacles and the rebirth card. But you need to be at a point now where the next phase is going to provide growth and challenge. Some of you might have just reached a point where you might be sticking around more for the people. I know I've been in situations where that was the thing that kept me sane. That was the thing that kept me there. But are you getting enough intellectually to be stimulated? Because the Knight of Wands in the reverse position and some of the boredom energy that I'm seeing in this card could signify that it might be that you've outgrown something. So look at not just what you wanted to accomplish, but now where you're at now. Meet yourself where you are. Yes, you might have gone to school for a certain skill or a certain title or a certain job type, but that doesn't mean that you can't repackage, reimagine, or explore new things at any phase of life. Good things that I see this month. Your ability to achieve, whether it's getting a new job, getting a promotion, leveling up, it comes from your ability to work well with others. If you love what you're doing and you love who you're working with, you're going to be more successful. If you love what you're doing, people are going to love what you do more. If you are in the frequency of positivity and you use your imagination and your instincts and your ingenuity, your engineering capacity, whatever, then that is going to be good too. But it's got to be like the heart and the mind lit up, like we see here. That's going to be your magnet. If you're bored, things are probably going to stagnate a bit. So this is a time for you to think, what now and what next? Are you getting what you need, and what is your long-term goal? It's okay to pivot. It's okay to change. For many of you, the writing is on the wall. That's the big takeaway in all things money and wealth and personal development related. Something is coming to a close. Something has been accomplished here with the 10 of Pentacles, and there's a pivot coming. So like I said, things can be anticlimactic. Once you get there, you're like, okay, I think I might want to do something else now. And that's all right. You don't have to make an immediate decision. Your second power card here is this 9 of Pentacles. Slow, steady, let things take root, let them take form. So dream it in the form of the 2 of Wands, and then give it some time to germinate in the 9 of Pentacles, and then do it, putting it into writing, putting it into a plan. Also, listen. Whenever we have communication cards reversed, it's about listening and getting inspired by what other people are doing. You can do it this month, but give yourself ample time to think of what you want without overthinking and getting yourself trapped like we saw there. Overall, especially for those that are looking for the opportunities this month, there's a lot of charisma and persuasion, I see resources, but I see boredom where you're at, or I see a stagnation or point where you need to pivot from. So that's the big opportunity when it comes to development and resources. If you need more, ask. You have the chance to get it. If you're stuck, think of something else, what you want to do in the next step. Okay, but overall, very good cards. So I feel like you can get through the rest of this month with grace and with ease if you allow yourself. All right, let's move on to love and relationships. We have memory coming through. This is beautiful. Okay, so this can be read exactly at face value, especially with the card that signifies nostalgia. It's almost like the definition of it, the Six of Cups. So here's the challenge and the opportunity. So for some of you, you might be nostalgically looking back at the better days. Like, oh, it was so much easier then, or what if I could have, connected with this person? There's a lot of nostalgia can be good, but it can also be a prison of would have, could have, should have. So give nostalgia a hug, give your memories a hug, and keep a time and a place to reconnect with them. But also remember the inner child and its dreaming capacity. And I think memory, when we're looking at love and opportunities, is really about the best is yet to come, and I deserve it. So before I even break it down, some of you are thinking of like higher love here, and it's the love that can last here. So this is lovers and friends that make a commitment and do the work. Who doesn't want that? All right, let's break it down into a couple of subcategories, starting off with those that are partnered. If you're in a partnership, there's a punctuated emotional energy that's coming through from the past. You either just rode a really emotional high or low. We see pumping the brakes here a little bit to tune in and not get in your head too much like we talked about. What I love about those who are partnered right now is if you just slow down, take a deep breath, make a plan with the person that you love, I see passion, I see commitment, I see friendship. Connect with those aspects of your partnership and you're going to be fine. The challenges right now exist here. So the Four of Cups could be what you mapped out for yourself. You thought that you would be at a different point in your life right now. Maybe when it comes to family or marriage. If you're with the person you love, you don't have to rush those things, because when I look at partnered, I don't call it married. You could just be with someone for a while. That's why I use the word partnered. So is it right for you? Does it feel right for you? Then it's right. Whether mom agrees, dad agrees, your neighbor agrees, your teacher agrees, whatever stage or phase of life you're in, that's their business, not yours. And if you open up to kind of just accepting and embracing yourself and your partner for who you are, you're going to be fine. But there's comparison coming through here. The grass is always greener somewhere else. You don't know what they're going through. Ignore the critical notes that might be coming through from some of those people in your life. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever, they all have an opinion. That's their opinion. That's not yours. The thing that you want to focus on is building a strong relationship with the person that you love, taking your time, and breaking some ancestral habits around relationships and relationship health. I think some of you are in a karmic relationship. And the main thing here, if I look at the karma, it has to do with passion and compassion and these sort of highs and lows. So not making a mountain out of a molehill this month is going to be really important, and just taking some time to enjoy that person. It looks pretty good overall. These are manageable things. It's the criticism from the other people outside of the relationship that could end up getting in the way, so don't let it. If you are single and you're looking for love, yes, you can find it. Literally, the center card is the Lovers. You could find it through your existing family, through coworkers. You could find it through friends. I don't think you need to go on an app. This is about someone that is maybe a step or two out of your inner circle, but not too far. So it's like a friend of a friend or a friend of a friend of a friend. They'll come when you're not looking, and don't be afraid to initiate. They may initiate too, but this isn't a passive month, especially with this. So if you like someone, say hello. If someone says hello, take a deep breath and be present. Sometimes we freak ourselves out, and just continue the conversation with them. And this is different this time. If you're afraid of being hurt, or if there were things that didn't go the way that you wanted, rebirth shows a shift in energy. So I like it. It's karmic in nature. And we don't necessarily get, well, I guess this is more from the past though. So there could be an old flame coming back in, looks okay. And it's a fire sign, but there could also be someone completely different from that. So open yourself up to that and set into mind what you're really looking for. From what I can see, it's commitment, it's love, and it's friendship, and it may be children too. Okay. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you are married, there could be children in the picture. So like maybe you're getting pregnant this month, because I see that. Okay. Finally, single and happy. It's a great time to be single and happy. You can use all of the people energy that we see here to create movement in your life where you want it, in friendships, in personal development, making a difference in the world. This is super persuasive energy. So you can, be a public speaker or be a teacher or create some sort of grassroots movement and make the necessary change. All right, we have a really interesting card here in Destiny, the Coffin. So I might pull the traditional judgment one up one more time here for a moment, but this coffin is open, and it kind of reminds me of like Pandora's box. Once you open it, you can't go back. So because rebirth is about stepping out of this, out of the coffin, out of the tomb, it's sort of like saying, I can't go back there. You can't go back to a way of thinking, a way of being, maybe even someone in your life. You've cut the ties, and all you can do now is reanimate and reimagine and reforge. It has to be different. This new chapter is different by definition, but leaning into the fact that you're never going to completely go back to the olden days is actually good, okay? Now, give yourself a chance to think of one final question that you might need a little bit of advice on. Go ahead and focus on that. I'm going to give the cards a shuffle and see what Spirit has to say to your question. Okay, I alluded to this one earlier, but here it comes. You got the Seven of Cups in the reverse position. This is dreaming, this is imagining, this is thinking. Sometimes you can get lost in the reflection. Limit the amount of time that you spend on looking things up online. Limit the amount of things that you look at to maybe 3 or 4. If you overthink it, it's going to create stagnation. So dream it, then do it. There may also be something that you already on a soul level know, because judgment represents clairsentience. Fancy word for saying, I already know, I feel it. This is you trying to talk yourself in or out of it. If you already know, you know. If you know, you know. Do it. Don't allow yourself to be talked in or out of something that you already know to be true. This can also be, for some of you, boredom, and you're wondering what's next. And I think it's good to think about what you want to do next. So a lot of little nuances here. There's one last thing, which is if there's someone in your life that's constantly waffling, they can't make a decision, you ask them and they never answer, that's a no, or they're not ready yet. So if you're trying to commit to someone and they're like, I don't know, they're not ready. If you are waffling, you're not ready. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this card, and because it's general, you can take the one that fits you, but it's time to get clear back to the beginning. We've got to get the facets, get the clarity, polish things off. So you need to be clear before someone else can be clear. If someone else isn't clear, you don't need to connect with it. And then once you do that, with the clarity, you can go anywhere, okay? I hope that helps. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to read for you. If you enjoyed this, and I hope you did, you can show a simple vote of love and support by subscribing. It helps more than you know. Hit the thumbs up and then comment below what you liked most about the reading. I read everything. You can also leave a sticker with your comment or become a member. This is another way to allow me to continue to show up every month if you enjoy these. To continue the conversation and have more of a one-on-one reading, you can schedule a private reading. All of that is available on my website. My main website is nicholasashbaugh.com. Additionally, from there, you can also follow me on social media. Every platform is basically my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. I'm also newly on Substack, and again, all of that is on my website. And additionally, from there, you can also show some love and support through PayPal if that's more your thing. And that's everything. I think Apollo's back, so let's give him a pat on the head and then we'll wrap up. Hey, buddy. Who's a good dog? Yes, you are. Yes, good to see you, buddy. All right, folks. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I hope that you have a fantastic rest of this month. Thanks again for your patience as I took care of my health and myself. It's important to do so, so do the same for yourself. Until next time, take care.